Maybe some of the loud turnovers and how they changed momentum with about 5 minutes to go. And
yeah, a couple of them were not good. You know, the two I was more disappointed about is you know, we had a little bit of mishap by our bench there, and Scotty threw it to Boynton as he was cutting, which was disappointing. And then the one that was really disappointing to me, because sometimes that happens, the one that was really disappointing is we call a timeout, and we got Prather, you know, pretty much wide open on a lob, and it's wide open. And the execution of Scotty's pass, throwing a lefty pass up in the air like that, instead of being more fundamentally sound and, you know, getting it up there like that, those two probably hurt us. Murphy had a drive, which I thought he was being aggressive on. But I thought the biggest problem for us in the end of the game was I think we were 1 for 10, and I thought we had pretty decent looks. We had Patrick Young. We ran a play for him, and we got him a layup. He missed it. He missed a jump hook up front. Scotty got in the lane. He missed a runner as well. And, you know, Boynton, I thought, had a decent look to tie the game. You know, at some point, someone's going to have to step up and make a shot in those situations. I actually thought that defensively, you know, maybe like some other games where we've broken down and given up way too many points to close out a game, you know, I thought we defended pretty well. We had a foul, you know, when they were taken out on the side up 2. But for the most part, we defended pretty well. We just couldn't make it. Even if we get, you know, we don't need to shoot 50%, but if we make a couple of chippies around the basket, and maybe one jump shot, you know, you're right there probably to win the game, and you probably do win the game.
Billy, how much do you think it's mental at this point in terms of how you guys execute late?
I think we executed really well. I mean, I was really pleased with the way we executed today. I mean, outside those couple of turnovers, which were not good, I mean, we run a play and we get Patrick Young underneath the basket. With, you know what I mean? How much better can you execute?
But I mean, the shot too. I mean, making the shot, that's part of the execution, isn't it?
No. I think, you know, some guys, that's not part of the execution. The execution is shooting the ball. You want the ball to go in. But, you know, if we could execute making shots, every team in the country would shoot 100%. You know, you're not going to be able to do that all the time. I thought the one play, you know, we ran coming out of the timeout, you know, Scotty got it late to Murphy. He was open. He took 2 extra dribbles to try to get down the lane instead of just snapping it to him right away because they were in a bind on the backside because Patrick was rolling to the basket. Murphy's man was in front of Scotty, and Patrick's man took him rolling to the basket, and Murphy was open. He took 2 extra dribbles and allowed Poitras to close back out and allowed Stein to get back inside. I thought that was one where we could have had a pretty decent look. And I thought we were up by 7 there. You know, we had a couple plays. They didn't capitalize right away. Murphy had a good 3 out of the corner. Didn't go in, you know. And then we had, like I said, Scotty missed a runner in the lane and Patrick missed a jump hook. You know, those were right there, point-blank shots. And even Boynton's shot off by the side was a pretty decent look. So, you know, you got to do that in those situations.
Billy, you guys made hay when Cauley Stein was on the bench in foul trouble in the post. A lot tougher sledding when he was in there. What kind of an impact did he make? And you know, down the end, you said, you know, he had some close looks around the basket. It seemed like he even altered some of those shots he didn't block.
He altered Wilbekin's drive. I don't think he altered Patrick Young's shot at all, or I don't think he altered Scotty's shot. He didn't jump on Scotty's. I think he was worried about coming up and leaving Young open for maybe a lob or a dump down pass, so he kind of faked at him. But, you know, he's long, he's athletic. I thought he played a very good game. He obviously, I think, still got a ways to go. Still got a ways to go, I think, offensively, but I love his energy and his motor and the way he plays.
Billy, you've seen this team without Nerlens Noel back to back here. Now you've seen him with Nerlens Noel, without Nerlens Noel. Is this an NCAA tournament team you played today?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think they certainly have a lot of individual talented pieces. You know, there's no question about that. I think when you take a guy like Nerlens Noel off the floor, you know, it would be like us having to play the rest of our season without Patrick Young. This is very difficult to do. You know, with Nerlens, you know, they're extremely special because you can play he and Stein together. Certainly it's tough to score around the basket with those 2 guys. You know, I think that they're good enough Kentucky talent-wise to play with anybody. You know, I don't know. You know, I haven't seen everybody out there in the country, but it's hard when you lose a player like that. You have to adjust so many different things because you can't use Wiltshire like you used to use Wiltshire because he gets exposed a lot more defensively. You know, whether it's out on the perimeter, you know, he's really skilled and gifted offensively, but sometimes defensively, when you got Stein away from the basket and Wilcher's, you know, having to guard the ball, that sometimes is challenging for them. So, you know, can they beat anybody? Absolutely, they're talented and gifted enough, but I think they're probably still learning how to play without Nerlens.
Billy, you called early timeouts at both halves. What points were you trying to get across?
Well, I was really annoyed to start both halves, to be honest with you. And I think our team knew that Kentucky was going to come in and be aggressive to start the game. And I thought the first possession of the game, the shot goes up, and Poitras, totally legal, just totally dislodges Murphy out of the way, jams him under the backboard, grabs the ball, and takes a layup. The next possession, we come down the floor, and Murphy makes a very weak move at the basket. Shot gets blocked. And then I think there was someone else went down the lane, got another shot blocked. And we were just too loose. I mean, I thought that clearly looking at the game to start the first 2 minutes, I thought clearly Kentucky was the more aggressive team. And I just basically tried to get our guys to respond. And, you know, we responded. It was tied at the half. I thought, you know, we probably could have done a better job blocking out the free throw line, you know, right there to close out the half. And I thought we had a 4-point lead, and Frazier had a live ball turnover in the middle of the floor, which hurt us, which enabled them to get right back where we had a little bit of momentum.
Billy, how do you address the late game thing with your team, or do you take the approach that every game's different and one doesn't have anything to do with
Well, you know, I think the biggest thing you try to look at, you know, which is totally different, like, for me, I can't put the ball in the basket for them. You know, I can't. You know, I cannot make a jump hook, but I can try to put them in positions to try to be successful. There's been some times this year where I wasn't maybe totally happy with our execution or decision making coming down the stretch. I don't think we were. I actually thought I mean, listen, we got Patrick Young on a jump hook right in front of the rim. We got Patrick Young a layup, and we got Scotty Wilbekin basically a layup. Boynton got a pretty good 15-foot jump shot off the bounce, uncontested. And, you know, I don't know necessarily, you know, what you need to do in those situations to do that. But, you know, again, you've got to be able. It's not. Listen, if we were scoring points and just shut it down on defense, that's why I say the execution part. Like, we guarded really well, and we rebounded halfway decent. But the game, in my opinion, was won. If you look at it, the rebounding margin was clearly in their favor, and in the free throw line. You know, that's where the game won. And then, obviously, the last 6 minutes of the game, we got 14 possessions. We turned it over. You know, I think we turned it over 12 times in the game, but not a high enough number of assists. And a couple careless turnovers. 2 of them, you know, they're going to happen. But you know, just you got to be able to make a shot. You got to be able to put the ball in the basket. I don't know if there's an answer for that.
Billy, can you talk about the play of Goodwin and Hara for them today?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were. You know, Archie Goodwin's is a hard driver. You know, they were okay. I mean, I thought, you know, Harrow was okay too. You know, I was really, to be honest with you, I was much more impressed with Paulie Stein and Poitras. You know, I thought Poitras stepped up and really rebounded the ball well. You know, Mays you got to account for because he's a good shooter. But, you know, Harrow didn't shoot a great percentage, and neither did Archie Goodwin. But, you know, Archie Goodwin's a hard driver, and, you know, we probably got fortunate because he really missed and probably left a lot of points for them out there with some missed free throws. That kind of gave us some life, especially when he made, I think it was 1 out of 2, we got the ball back down to.
What were your thoughts about what you got out of the bench? And it seemed like Will was a little active early in the game. And
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen you get back too close to where he was at. You know, I thought mentally he was really struggling. I thought he maybe made a little bit of a jump for us, which was good. He seemed to be getting more and more back to himself.
Billy, you said
Final question
you
here.
said you were happy with the execution. 25 seconds left, you get the ball down to Kenny takes kind of a guarded shot. Were you happy with that? You guys
I didn't think it was guard. I thought it was uncontested. Listen, at those situations, you're not going to get a wide open shot. You know what I mean? I thought he got a fairly decent look. It was unchallenged. It wasn't a hand in his face. I thought, you know, maybe the shot at Missouri wasn't one we wanted. But I thought we were patient. We tried to drive it. We got a switch on Stein. I think Scotty tried to drive Stein. He got a little bit of help forced from Boynton's man. And, you know, it was an okay, you know, was it like a high percentage great shot? You know, probably not. Was it a bad shot? It certainly wasn't a bad shot. I think that we've got to, You know, again, I thought a couple plays that we had control over, you know, was Wilbekin's lob pass, which was open. I thought we executed that very well. We didn't execute the pass well, but the play was well executed in terms of screening and those kind of things. We didn't deliver the ball correctly. I thought the missed jump hooks in the lane by Wilbekin and Young, and then Young's missed layup. I mean, we got to make a couple of those, you know, in that kind of situation. And then I thought the second to last play is I thought Wilbekin, like I said, had Murphy wide open, and I thought we could have got it to him earlier. We waited too long, and Poitras was able to close out.
Billy, a lot of the players on Thursday talked about finishing strong. I mean, how do you view this kind of game going into the postseason?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing that's good for us is we got a lot that we can learn from, you know, going down. I think there's some things that we can definitely look at. You know, I was really, really happy that we came into this environment. I think we've had a chance to play here, you know, against some teams that have had some desperation. You know, going to Arkansas, they were kind of a desperate team. Going to Tennessee, they were kind of a desperate team. You know, even coming here, a desperate team. I think these situations are good for your basketball team. You know, because I thought, you know, again, they probably can say the same thing about our team, but I thought there was plays in the game that we were not really smart on, that we gave them points, whether it been offensive rebounds, not blocking out the free throw line, live ball turnover. We gave some points away, and I'm sure they could probably say the same thing as well.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.